body type made woke squeal. Queer kneel, how do you feel? Your asshole about to need ice cause you bent over trying to conceal a 10-year-long mistake by transgenders disgraced. If you like this, get it on tape cause this woke shit's getting erased. Gibby Soft said you should get used to not owning games. Then they hit him with that gay and lame. Big chin, flat chest, always AAA, nerf femininity. Pirates won't pay Jesus Christ. I'd rather play Rivals. Uzumaki Marathon, brace for the spiral. Slurp, slurp, slurp. That's the sound of a pretender. They said drop the price but sold out at all vendors. Triggered need attention from a hetero offender. Somehow mad at Kyle cause there's only 2 genders.
Put that on ice.
Put it on ice.
Put that on ice.
Hello, beta testers. Like, comment, subscribe, or join if you too would like to get gaming out of Buttlick City. My name is Kyle, and I guess I have a unique voice in gaming because I'm speaking to people, not Discord-dwelling entities groomed by fake former feminists or loose a-hole shills gargling jizz for whomever's granting them access or attention. Seems people go pretty far online for validation these days. I delight in people incessantly trying to comment on a conversation they think themselves too cool for, but would be irrelevant without. And you know they can't have that. Their desperation and dim-witted engagement elevates issues that might not have been seen by nearly as many, if not for their brain-damaged drooling, causing people to slide right into the objective ugly many of us have tolerated for years. For the first time in a long time, gamers are eating good. And not gamers like me or maybe you, because we always have the great old games to return to, but the normie gamers are eating good. And how funny is it that it's on a remade version of a 2-decade, that's 20 years old game that was and is based enough to embarrass by comparison because of the numbnuts they hire these days whose testicles seem to make them better than women as far as they're concerned. And then actual biological flat-chested women who are so angry at what might be perceived as the male gaze that they're going to claim objectification to get everybody nice and uncanny, almost inhuman looking. Very cool. Seems like a long time since the normie gamer has been properly catered to, and when they're not fed, they will go to somebody who will. That means brain rot. It means objectively higher quality Eastern gotcha, earning effortless billions with jiggle physics honeys as studios earn collapse because they're aware. They know damn well what people want, but we're going to force their attempt at a new normal anyway because they don't care what happens to your beloved IP. So you shouldn't care what happens to them. They don't care what happens to their hard-working peers that are slaving for years of their finite life as we approach potential economic crisis, so you shouldn't care about them. Of the genuine evil in the world, there are somehow little girls with so little life experience that in their community manager wisdom, they're unironically regarding grown shut-in geeks as chewowish because we're rating a product that doesn't function poorly. But in your brain damage, you believe that hard work is somehow a relevant metric by which products that we're paying for should be scored. As I said on Elon Musk's X, the same site so many of these entities can't seem to stop engaging or consuming the content on, the persistent poppy pronoun push parasites poison previously pleasure-filled properties with, is hitting the brick wall as it was always going to. They need time to see how cringe they are. They staff the studio with and consult the entities that are just like them, as Sweet Baby has told you verbatim about their hiring practices. So, of course, they have no idea what works and honestly don't care. Last night, Dia and I watched a bit of a movie starring Ryan Reynolds called Free Guy that I had not seen up until this point. And from awful cringeworthy slang to validation seeking to mentions of white privilege to dyed hair, fucking head-shaved tryhards at a glance. It was wild how they nailed these game developers. They know it works and what people will buy, but they know what they have to sell you, so they lie. The significance of yet another loud gamer rejection of something like Marathon and its blatant, irrefutable association design-wise with Concord parallels Oblivion's surge in popularity right now. And if you're too young to understand how mods kept Oblivion and Skyrim alive and its contribution to gaming and communities, please excuse yourself, man. This isn't for you. Saints Row couldn't be made today, literally, because of the necessity for sanitized downgrades and femininity extractions by losers who've confused themselves for more than video game fucking developers. You know who you serve, bitch? Halo couldn't be made today, literally, because you're hiring ignorant, unqualified, rainbow flag waving DEI lunatic sluts who don't see the significance of a forge or a co-op, but they know they gotta lie about it and say it's in that bitch because they crucify your ass otherwise. And you get to just keep doing what you're doing, I guess. Good luck. You know the formula, you know the necessity for certain ingredients. You're gonna fuck that recipe up anyway. You're just one of them bitches. Concord fails at a glance because people don't dislike it, they hate it. They hate it. It doesn't inspire, shake your head, roll your eyes, and forget it. It triggers a need, a drive to redesign, to ask how, ask why, show that AI can do better. And as I've mused on Twitter, even the queerest corners of the internet recognize these poisonous attempts at inclusion as failures in producing anything other than, in their words, abominations. On the off chance some developer, a real one, the one significant, the ones moving into the future, hear this, understand, remakers, remasterers, port people, reimagining developers, they are not creative. That's why they're redoing something. So the modern audience femininity downgrading, titty flattening alterations are not popular, and the Dragon Ages that they them would make kill interest. They're aware. Get aggressive about mods if you want, male and female triggering. We get it. We know why. We wouldn't want attention to be on anything but you. Borderlands and Take-Two are trying to push people to accept agreements that forfeit personal information, seemingly egregious enough to skate right up against what may or may not be considered legal in some countries. And of course, it's to combat people playing the games the way that they want to play them. So you'll make the East stronger. You'll drive more billions into their pocket. Scene had them imitating Free Guy because that's what greatness is, but you'll be the one copying, chasing after they demonstrate what trends and show you what profits. And that's catering to the majority, that's heterosexuality, the reason that you exist. From the hundreds of millions of dollars that some of these woke Western studios are wasting to lecture in entertainment, I often liken it to diluting alcohol, and maybe, just maybe, you're pissing off people the way that you might if you sold them alcohol that you said was alcohol that's not getting them drunk for some reason. So burn that money, and since people can clock that you're not really finding a use for it, they'll give it to literally anyone else, man. Your crystal dynamics to your ugly garbage has, at a glance, simply gone too far. So it is no shock that the same DEI losers working on a Warner Brothers Sushi Squad game or a BioWare Dragon Age game are failing upward into a Fable project that's also forced to be delayed because who the fuck are you people? What are you doing? You don't know, but you hope you can manage it off the back of a slave who doesn't even understand they're going to be kneecapping your project before it can even attempt to race. Why? Ain't no way. Was that a Nancy Kerrigan? I think these people are cold like that. They would just take a pipe, bow, to this figure skater's legs. What are you doing, man? You people are fucking crazy. Okay, forgive the rambling. Be amused at some hate watchers sitting through the duration of this because they can't get enough, man. If you haven't heard, the Oblivion remaster, which proudly injected gender politics into the fantasy game meant as escape entertainment, that originally wasn't there, but developers need to see themselves, so every game is really just an opportunity to make a vehicle to indoctrinate people with. Oops! The mod that changed the body types to male and female that was uploaded and quickly banned had to be put back up. Multiple different people who didn't break the law in the way of the rules established by the very strict site still saw their versions of the mod removed, but after enough people, and especially the Chinese, pulled their premium subscriptions because of the habitual politically charged removals of mods by the Nexus site team, Nexus was forced to backpedal, make a statement, and allow the female and male mod, which has since become the #1 trending and most endorsed mod for Oblivion, back up. So yet again, the majority is modding out unnecessary changes made by the minority of political knob gobblers desperate to force their modern audience cancer on people who don't want it in remakes of 20-year-old games. And if that wasn't enough, a mod site that exists in large part thanks to Oblivion and Skyrim mods thought they themselves virtuous enough to decide on your behalf what mods you must not have access to. But then they got checked so hard and snapped back to reality, they were forced to hand deliver via tweets to disgruntled fucking users the male-female mod. A literal fight for the normalcy that they'll revoke. So revoke your motherfucking wallet. Earlier, Laura Fryer mentioned Smash JT's coverage of a Concord developer needing people to regard them as the professor, and the irony of record-breaking layoffs for woke Western games is no one learning because they can't from layoffs. Any disagreement grants whomever, whatever, right-wing, grifter, incel, cougar, chud, fascist kind of labeling that they hope to throw out and have as big an effect as what we have made bad words in boardrooms like ESG, DEI, woke, you know what I mean? And TERF, when you tried to hurl that at J.K. Rowling, backfired, and I'd imagine that if you keep this shit up, it'll backfire too. You can't see the damage you're doing, but we're cheering you on, just like we cheered on Rachel Zegler. When she says, weird, it's not just that she says it, it's the way she says it and what it tells you. And that's more than she means to convey. They need to use terms like normal people and desperately try to convince you of how they act and therefore how you should act. But you've begun noticing, beta testers, the patterns. And sometimes once you see it, you can't unsee it. Mature game, right? But censored specifically in the feminine department. A statue is too edgy. They're literally throwing up a towel over a naked statue. It just doesn't get any better than that. But I got some news for you. We don't even have to do anything for you to absolutely slaughter yourself. You're censoring a female statue. Slam dunk, man. You're billions of dollars behind. And we cheer for whatever comes next. If you can't learn from the layoffs, you deserve what payoff you headed towards. Shift up with one mobile game and one stellar blade, gearing up for what's going to be one of the greatest gifts to gaming when that hits PC, because of whom we will mod into this game, but your Wolverine game staffed by your insomniac dweebs that need to see themselves and DEI. I'm gonna stop myself here and thank the patrons and sponsors and just issue love as usual. I can't wait to get into more with you, and I'm super happy for those who are pleased and find Expedition 33 palatable. Doom the Dark Ages is coming up for you, and you also have Oblivion. I just hope that they cater to normal people, because too many gamers receiving revelation of the pride that certain entities take in the destruction of something that just brought joy to people might make them a little eager for revenge. I love you, and I hope you have a pleasant and wonderful day, just full of positivity, you know what I mean? Later.
Because entertainment is by definition risky. It's not like food. It's not like heating oil. People don't have to have it. They can simply choose to take their money and spend it on a different game or some other form of entertainment.